everyone, Cassie here. Welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today we're going to be making a light up ornament. I'm so excited about it. We're going to be using the Snowglobe card, but we're not making a card, as I said. So we're going to use portions of this and we're going to make it light up. So I am going to be using an easy light. And this is a pack of 5. I only have one left. That's how often I use these things, but I love them. So I'm going to show you an easy way to make a light up ornament. There are some other things I'm going to bring in, but I went ahead and cut out all the pieces that I need. We'll talk about them as we use them. And this piece right here that you're going to see is one that I already had colored. I'm going to use this same technique to do the background, so I'll show you how I did this. But I don't like to throw away a whole lot, especially if you've made some effort to making a background and you don't use the whole thing. So I'm going to cut out all of my trees using this green paper. It's so pretty, and like I said, I'll show you how I did that using another color, but it'll be for our background. So I used some watercolor cardstock to cut out those pieces that you see there, all those, and out of the card base, like what would typically be the card base that I'm going to cut in half, I just use regular regular cardstock. But for this piece of the snow globe, we're going to use some Uncharted Mariner Distress Spray Stain. This stuff is gorgeous. And so I'm going to spray that in my makeshift splatter box and kind of leave the big chunky splatters. I love those. And we're going to heat set this because it, tends to dry a little differently than what you see when you spray it. So I want to see where we're at here. I'm going to go ahead and finish drying that. I'm going to bring that spray in again, do a little bit more spraying, just stuck to the one color. And then I'm kind of happy with that because I want it to look like a snowstorm. So I'm going to spritz a little bit of water on that background using my distress sprayer and then wipe up the excess, but we're not done yet. We're going to bring in our Trinity Gold palette. Now the palette that is in the store is a little bit different. It's a little less, but it's also cheaper than this one was. So I'll have that linked down below. It's the same colors, just looks a little different. And I'm going to splatter the silver all over that background and make it look like splattery snow, like silver splatter snow, sparkly, shiny, loving it. And we're going to set that off to the side to dry. I'll bring in a blending buddy and we're going to blend the house using a Simon Hurley Create ink. This one is just cookie dough. And then for the roof, I'm going to use the same blender buddy because this is my brown one. And yes, I do have one for every color family. And then I'll bring in that Weeping Willow for the base of our snow globe and also the roof of the house. I'm going to leave some of that inside of this base a little bit lighter than the outside because I just love that. It gives it some dimension and depth. And then the roof, we'll just use whatever's left over on our blending buddy to color the roof. And then I'll clean up my mess. And then you'll notice this piece, I did cut out a snowdrift. I wanted some of that to hang down on the bottom so I could, attach it to the base. And so you'll see I'm just trimming away the excess. But that die that's in the die set, it's just one, not a straight line, but just one line. And so you can cut it how you need it. And then I've got some vellum that I'm trimming to fit behind our house. I poked out all the pieces for the window and the heart. And then I'm just going to glue down that vellum to the back of the house using some of our Crafty Gluefriend. You don't need a lot here, so be very sparing. We'll attach that down. Doesn't matter how that looks on the back because no one's going to see it. But I need that vellum there. And then while we're at it, we'll go ahead and use some reverse tweezers and some more of our Crafty Gluefriend to attach down the roof of our house. And just be very sparing there too. Love the reverse tweezers. Don't know how you can survive without them. Now I'm just kind of using the globe and the snow as just kind of getting an idea of how things can be laid out. I'll put a little glue at the bottom of our house and I'll attach it down to the snow and I'll move the globe around it again so we have an idea. And then I'll use our reverse tweezers, a little bit of glue at the bottom, and then we'll start attaching down all of our trees to our background. Max is going to come in and make sure that the quality of this is good, so our quality control cat is here. And then I flip it over and I attach down the last 2 trees that I cut out. I did cut out 6, and I love how that looks. And so now we can attach this to the snow globe. I'll just put a little bit on where you see I put the glue, and then I'll attach that down to our snow. And there you have that. Here's I bring in another stamp set. This is the brand new Simply Sentimental Holidays. Love this. I don't want it to say Happy Holidays, but I love that Be Merry and Bright. I think that's perfect since this is going to be an ornament. So I use some anti-static powder, some juicy embossing ink, and stamp that down onto our base and then cover that with some white detail embossing powder. I did get a little bit that stuck in places. It might have been because this ink wasn't completely dry, but I'll just use a dry brush to wipe that away, and then we'll heat set that Be Merry and Bright. And then here's where I'm going to cut the card, the front of it or the back of it away. And then I'm just going to fussy cut around that. Now, I know a lot of you don't enjoy fussy cutting, but this is so super simple. It's not perfect. I'll tell you that right now. You just need it as a base. And nobody's paying attention to that. And if somebody's looking that closely at that portion of it, shame on you, I guess. I don't know. But no, mine isn't perfect, and that's okay. I do attach down my background to that base when I should have waited because I should have used my cord, since this is supposed to be an ornament, but thankfully I am able to work with that later. And I'll show you that once we get to it, but just, this is why I make things ahead of the time for you guys so that you can see where I screwed up so that you don't. You'll see it later on. All right, so getting our Easy Light ready, just make sure you line up the plus sign with the plus sign when you put the battery in. It's that easy to get them working. And now we're just going to kind of figure out where we want our mechanism. I don't put that down yet. That's usually the last thing I put down. I put down the lights first. And I've started using this clear Scotch tape. If you're doing it over windows or vellum, this is a great way to do it. Washi tape works fine, but if you end up going over any space where it's going to show, you'll see the washi tape. And so I like using the Scotch tape now. I think that's kind of going to be my preferred method from here on out. So got some of that in my stash. I'm going to trim away some of that excess tape. Be careful. Do not cut your cords because your lights won't work. And here's where I'll use a little bit of double-sided adhesive on the battery pack itself. Just peel off that release paper. And here I'm like, this is where I'll put it. And then I thought, no, because I want to be able to reach the battery. Because this is going to be an ornament, if I need to change out the battery from year to year, this would be the way to do it. I can pull that out or pull it out before I put the ornament away. And this way I'll be able to reach it. So I've got that down at the edge. And everything works fine. That's great. And so here is where I'll take the cords and just basically wind them up and tape them down. No one's going to see this. Yes, it looks like a hot mess, but that is okay. Like I said, nobody sees it. Another thing to make these lights that much easier. And then I'm thinking I need to attach that down. But before I do that, I need to be able to put something where where you need to push. So I'm pulling in the Papercrafting Magic stamp set. I'm just using the word push, and I'm going to stamp it in black because I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be in your face. So I'll just ink that up and stamp that right on the side. Perfect. And then now I can glue down that base to the snow globe. It fits in there perfectly. I'm loving this so much you just don't even know. All right, here's where I'm like, oh, geez, you forgot the cord. So here's my cord. It's a stretchy cord. It's perfect for ornaments. I'm just going to trim that down, and I'm going to peel away the paper a little bit. It's fine, nothing tore. And then I'll bring our Crafty Gluefriend in there again, and then just kind of stick this inside there. There will be another thing to secure it in place, but this works great. That Crafty Gluefriend is a good glue. So push that down. It's not going anywhere. And then here, you're going to need some foam strips. I use these skinny foam strips because I need to go all the way around the outside of our ornament or our snow globe, and these fit perfectly in there. These are just some scrapbook adhesive 3D foam strips. You will need to double these up if you're using something like this. Unless you have something that's about 3 millimeters deep, you're going to need to double these up, which isn't that big of a deal. It's not hard to do. As you can see, I'm doubling these ones up right here. Just go right over the top of what you just did. And then I'll do that for all over the background, going around our battery pack, even going over the top of the cords. It all works fine. You just want to make sure that it is definitely doubled up. Otherwise, your ornament could be on all the time, and you probably don't want that because the battery will die quickly. All right, I'm peeling off all of the release paper. This is the last step, honestly, and then we're done. And then I'm just going to flip that over and stick that right down on top of our base. It'll go right over the cord. It'll secure that in place even more. And it's done. Oh my gosh, this makes my heart so, so happy. I can't wait to put it on the tree. But check that out. Don't you just love it? I hope it inspires you to want to get inky, maybe make a crafty ornament with some lights. How fun would this be to give as a gift, right? All right, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And be sure to check out all that Trinity Stamps has going on over on their blog, Facebook page, and Instagram for more crafty inspiration. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.